Let's start with some background and context because I know this must sound hard for some viewers to believe. I was having dinner with a friend not long ago in New York City. We met at a place called Oriole, which is in Midtown. My dinner companion that night was a senior advisor to BlackRock. As you may know, BlackRock is now the largest asset manager on the planet. It directly manages $5 trillion in assets, and it oversees another $11 trillion through its Aladdin platform. That means one firm controls more money than the GDPs of China, Russia, and Japan combined. Anyway, my dinner companion happens to work directly for BlackRock's CEO. As we nursed our white wine and the evening wore on, she let something slip. If I remember her words, she said something like, "They want to tell us we can't sell." What was she talking about? Who was she talking about? I placed a few calls, first to my contacts in Washington, then to a few people on Wall Street. Soon I was on a plane for a series of meetings to London, to Geneva, back to New York, then down to South America. As I began connecting the dots, a pattern emerged. It revealed a network of more than 189 individuals positioned inside the world's major financial institutions. Some of them hold senior positions inside the IMF, World Bank, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset the world economy according to their vision. As the coming crisis unfolds, President Trump will be powerless to stop it. In fact, trying to stop them would probably weaken the president's power altogether.
That is amazing, Jim, really. So what did these elites want from your contact at BlackRock?
Basically, they want to classify BlackRock as too big to fail. The technical term is Systemically Important Financial Institution, or SIFI. That designation normally applies to banks, such as Bank of America. If your bank gets the SIFI label, it means the government will bail you out first in a crisis. But it also means you must turn over control of your bank until the crisis subsides. In this case, they're trying to reclassify BlackRock, an asset manager, as too big to fail. If they succeed, they'll be able to freeze BlackRock when the crisis hits. BlackRock clients won't be able to sell. They won't be able to buy either. Their accounts will go dark indefinitely. And the elite operatives will take control of BlackRock's assets remotely via the internet. But our research shows that their ICE 9 plan goes much, much deeper than that.
Now, you refer to their plan as ICE 9. You just said that. What does that mean?
It's a reference to the Kurt Vonnegut novel, Cat's Cradle. In the book, a mad scientist creates a new form of water molecule called ICE 9. When it comes in contact with other water molecules, it freezes them at room temperature. One drop of ICE 9 can freeze the whole ocean. And that's what these elite operatives are about to do to the world economy.
Now, can you share with our viewers exactly who these operatives are and what their ultimate goal might be?
Like I said, John, more than 189 elite agents have slowly wormed their way into leadership positions across the board. They now sit at or near the head of the IMF, the World Bank, and even our own Federal Reserve. They also control much of what happens at the central banks of China, Russia, India, Brazil, Canada, and Europe. As you know, these institutions form a kind of global superstructure. It forms a kind of snare net encircling all nations. Their leaders aren't democratically elected. They're not accountable to you and me. They're beyond the reach of government and citizens, and yet they hold the fate of the global financial system in their hands. To get a sense of how they operate, imagine an array of floating spheres. One sphere is labeled IMF. One is labeled Fed. One is labeled Bilderberg. One is labeled Wall Street. One is labeled central banks. One is labeled intelligence agencies. One is labeled media, and so on. The elites inhabit all of these spheres, and together the network forms a kind of 3D Venn diagram. As I see it, regardless of what sphere they inhabit, the elites all share the same vision: one world order, one world taxation, and one world money.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I wanted to start this video off with that, apologies, extensively long clip, but if you watch the whole thing and you're still with me, you'll see why I put it in there. All right. So as I was going throughout the day, I had no intention of making this video, but it just all seemed to come together so perfectly, given a few news pieces and so on. So let me start tying things together for you. So before I even looked at that video or saw some of the news, I had put out this tweet. Many companies on Earth have more assets under management than the entire crypto space. As of now, these companies still control the world's wealth. Don't be shocked if regulations come that funnel money into these companies. And if you don't like KYC or AML crypto, go ahead and hedge anyway, right? And that would be your XRP, Stellar, XLM, Hedera Hashgraph, XDC, and Algorand, right? Those are the main ones that kind of fit this description. I'm sure there's a few others. If you know them, go ahead and let me know. But these are the main ones that I know of. But anyway, so Jim Rickards, the threat advisor to the White House, Pentagon, and CIA, was talking about a similar situation to this back then, right? How we're moving into this new world money system and so on. Well, you see the news themes coming together that point to something like this as well. So yesterday, CEO of top Bitcoin exchange warns a crackdown on cryptocurrencies may be coming, all right? And this is CNBC, not some CoinDesk or Cointelegraph article. So Kraken CEO is going out there and talking about this, and the mainstream media wants you to know. Governments around the world may start to clamp down on the use of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the CEO of a top crypto exchange has warned. Still, Kraken's chief thinks regulatory uncertainty around crypto isn't going away anytime soon. A recent AML rule proposed by the US government would require people who hold their crypto in a private digital wallet to undergo identity checks if they make transactions of $3,000 or more. All right, so they're referring to this clip that Brian Brooks, the previous Office of the Comptroller, acting comptroller, had mentioned that these rules may be coming out. What it really would do is make it so that your private wallets won't be able to be accessed without a KYC or AML mechanism built into them. All right, and I think that this could definitely happen. All right, I'm not saying attack Bitcoin, attack Ethereum. I don't want to see this happen. I just think that it is inevitable. Right, so I try to warn people about this stuff because I don't want to see anyone get caught off guard, all their eggs in one basket, and then they get screwed over. All right. So in a scenario like this, your wallet would no longer be able to be accessed with KYC. And as Powell says, something like that could really hurt crypto and kind of kill the original use case, which was just to make financial services accessible to everyone. Well, is that the real story, or is that what Powell thinks and that these crypto early adopters thought was going on, that they were having some kind of revolution? Well, maybe there was a plan all along to move us into this new system, as Jim Rickards has actually suggested could happen. All right. And one thing that's interesting with all of this, he has mentioned XRP before, he's mentioned Stellar before as potential projects with great potential, whereas he has said that he thinks the government will ban Bitcoin because it's slow, expensive, and doesn't serve as a means of payment. Basically, that's his opinion, not mine. I'm just giving you this very important person's opinion. Right? But my tweet all ties in with this as well. What do Ripple, Stellar, Hedera Hashgraph, XDC, and Algorand all have in common? Right? Well, I've talked about this plenty of times, but you need to see the dots, right? So Ripple, right on the World Economic Forum page, right? What was Jim Rickards saying in there? World Economic Forum was part of this plan, right? So Ripple's considered to be a partner in there. Consensus is in there as well, which is an Ethereum development company, but still. So you got Ripple in there, right? Who else can we find? If you come over to the Global Innovators page, these are the partners they've chosen as global innovators. Algorand, right? Who else? Hedera Hashgraph. So XRP, Algorand, Hedera Hashgraph. We've already found all of them connected to World Economic Forum somehow. Well, where can you find XDC and Stellar? Well, this article here on their website, why it's time to take central banks' digital currencies seriously. And if you scroll down, they mention the private banking sector has also launched multiple initiatives, such as the R3 Consortium, or in India, the Blockchain Infrastructure Company. All right, so they mentioned R3 there. All right, well, what does that matter? XDC is an R3 Corda partner. So there's some ties right there. And then if you come over to this document, Building Blockchains by the World Economic Forum, this one mentions Corda, OpenChain, and Stellar as well in the documents. We've seen Stellar host events with the World Economic Forum as well. So they're all tied in there one way or another, right? And what do they all have in common? Every single one of these are all KYC. XRP, Stellar, Hbar, XTC, and Algo. All right, they all have KYC mechanisms built in. And tying in with what Jim Rickard said, right? What was he talking about? BlackRock being part of this major plan to freeze all the assets. Well, as you can see right here, they have close to $9 trillion in assets under management, and that was as of 2020. They also partnered with the Fed in 2020 to manage their fixed income portfolio, meaning the bonds. So it all connects, right? All the money is held at the top, and he's saying that there's a plan to basically flip a switch and freeze it all. So you get the XRP community guys taking all this flack for being conspiracy theorists and so on, but we didn't make any of this stuff up, all right? It comes from these billionaires that work for the CIA, all right? So it's not us. And another interesting thing that ties in with all of this, right? As of today, cyber attacks are the #1 threat to the global financial system, Fed chair says. Cyber attacks are now the foremost risk to the global financial system, even more so than the lending and liquidity risk that led to the 2008 financial crisis, according to Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. The assessment by one of the world's leading banking officials underscores how the threat of hacking has become a top concern in the highest reaches of government. I would say that the risk that we keep our eyes on the most now is cyber risk, Powell told CBS. So you would worry about a cyber event. That's something that many government agencies, including the Fed and all large private businesses and all large private financial companies in particular, monitor very carefully, invest heavily in. One nightmare scenario, Powell said, would be if the hackers managed to shut down a major payment processor, hamstringing the flow of money from one financial institution to another that could shut down sectors or even broad swaths of the financial system, he said. Does that sound exactly like what Jim Rickard said in that video clip? It does, right? Same exact thing. Freezing the financial systems. Well, who else is over here on this World Economic Forum and the global innovators? Elastos. The only crypto project that is not a crypto project from the beginning. It's been around for 20 years and they've been trying to build a decentralized serverless internet. All right, and they are light years ahead of any Web3 project in crypto. I'm sorry, you can go ahead and do your research and try to debate that, but I doubt you'll find any conclusion that you found something better. All right, and they're right here on the World Economic Forum page as well. So problem, reaction, solution, maybe cyber attacks, and then we have to come out with our solution in this new internet that just so happens to be working with the World Economic Forum and focuses on every access point having their own decentralized identity to access it. Interesting, right? Interesting how all the KYC cryptos are connected with World Economic Forum, and then Elastos is in there for what reason? Well, maybe because they're building out this new internet that we keep worrying about these cyber attacks hitting. So thought that was an interesting one, a little bit different lately. I know we're entering this massive bull market and it seems like everything's taking off and we're having fun. Well, on my channel, I'm not just going to lie and cover things up and have everyone buying pancake swap from me whenever I've 10x'd it. All right, that's not my plan. I want everyone to see the truth for what it is, okay? If you found value in the video and you would like to chat with me more on a personal level or get in my Discord in general, keep up with my trade updates and so on, you can find the link to my Patreon in the description below. So definitely check that out. That should do it for today. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
Paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin anytime
No, we're
soon.
not.
Okay, you heard it here first, even though everyone thought that.
Yeah, right.